Oh, Ben, I had heard that he was cheating.
In the world of music, there are few names as iconic as Janet Jackson. With a career spanning decades, Janet has redefined pop and R&B, setting records and breaking boundaries with every release. Known for her bold performances and undeniable talent, Janet's life has often been the subject of public fascination. However, one aspect of her life that has remained relatively under wraps is her love life, especially her relationship with hip-hop producer Jermaine Dupri. In the early 2000s, Janet and Jermaine's romance blossomed seemingly out of nowhere, capturing the attention of fans and media alike. Their relationship wasn't one many would have anticipated, as the two came from different musical backgrounds and had different public personas. But Janet and Jermaine shared an undeniable bond, one rooted in mutual respect, admiration, and a deep understanding of each other's pressures and struggles within the music industry. Despite their contrasting images, Janet as a global pop icon and Jermaine as a hip-hop mogul, their relationship was a quiet yet powerful union that spoke to the idea that love can flourish in the most unexpected places. Janet Jackson and Jermaine Dupri's relationship didn't start with a romantic spark, but rather a professional friendship. By the time they met in the early 2000s, both were well-established figures in the music industry. Janet was already a global superstar, and Jermaine had solidified his place as a respected producer, having worked with artists like Mariah Carey, Usher, and The Brat. The two first crossed paths at various industry events and award shows, but it wasn't until they began collaborating musically that their friendship began to blossom. Janet and Jermaine shared a mutual admiration for each other's talents, with Janet respecting Jermaine's knack for creating hits, and Jermaine being in awe of Janet's natural talent and hard work. This admiration laid the foundation for their connection, and over time, their professional encounters grew into something more personal. Janet was known for being intensely private, but Jermaine's easygoing nature seemed to draw her out, allowing her to feel comfortable in a way she hadn't with previous relationships. As their friendship blossomed, Janet and Jermaine's chemistry became undeniable. They officially began dating in 2002, but they were committed to keeping their relationship out of the public eye. Janet, who had grown up under intense scrutiny as a member of the legendary Jackson family,
Heck no! Without them, I could have been Rodney Allen Rippy.
was notoriously protective of her private life. She had been married twice before, to singer James DeBarge and later to dancer Renee Elizondo Jr., and each relationship taught her valuable lessons about love, fame, and privacy. With Jermaine, Janet found a different kind of relationship, one where she felt respected and understood. Jermaine himself was no stranger to the spotlight, but he approached fame differently. His laid-back personality and willingness to avoid the public eye allowed Janet to feel safe and secure, giving her a level of privacy she cherished. They attended industry events together sparingly, choosing to keep their romance low-key, rather than making it a focal point of their public personas. Jermaine's approach to fame and his respect for Janet's boundaries helped create a balanced relationship that, for a while, seemed destined to stand the test of time. As Janet and Jermaine's relationship progressed, they navigated the challenges of balancing high-profile careers with their private romance. Both were deeply dedicated to their work, and their passion for music fueled much of their connection. Janet was preparing to release her album Demita Joe in 2004, and Jermaine was heavily involved in producing music for other artists, including Mariah Carey's The Emancipation of Mimi, which would go on to become one of the most successful albums of the 2000s. Their relationship wasn't one where either partner took a back seat. Instead, they cheered each other on from the sidelines, celebrating each other's successes and offering support during challenging moments. Jermaine was a constant presence in Janet's life, helping her navigate the pressures of fame, while Janet provided a similar sense of stability and encouragement for Jermaine as he juggled multiple projects. They became each other's biggest fans, and despite the demands of their careers, they found time to nurture their bond. One of the highlights of their relationship was Jermaine's influence on Janet's music. Though she was already a seasoned artist, Jermaine's perspective as a producer offered Janet new insights into her creative process. He encouraged her to experiment and explore different sounds, which contributed to the unique style and feel of her work during the years they were together. Their collaboration wasn't always in the studio, but Jermaine's support and feedback were instrumental in Janet's artistic growth, allowing her to feel free to take risks she might not have otherwise pursued. In 2004, Janet's life took a sudden and unexpected turn when she performed at the Super Bowl halftime show with Justin Timberlake. The infamous wardrobe malfunction incident, in which Justin accidentally exposed Janet's breast on live television, created a media firestorm and impacted Janet's career dramatically. She faced severe backlash, and the incident became a defining moment in her public life, overshadowing her music and shifting public perception in a way that would take years to overcome. During this challenging time, Jermaine was by Janet's side, offering unwavering support as she dealt with the fallout. He was one of the few people who stood by her publicly, defending her character and condemning the harsh treatment she received from the media and industry alike. Despite the strain the scandal placed on her career, Janet found solace in her relationship with Jermaine, who continued to support her both personally and professionally. Jermaine's loyalty during this period solidified their bond, showing Janet that he was there for her through the good and the bad, a quality she deeply valued. The Super Bowl incident put immense pressure on Janet's career, with her album Demita Joe facing reduced radio play and diminished commercial success as a result. Jermaine encouraged Janet to keep pushing forward, reminding her of her resilience and strength. The relationship became a source of comfort for Janet as she navigated a challenging chapter in her career, proving that their bond was more than just a high-profile romance. It was a partnership grounded in loyalty and mutual support. As the years went on, Janet and Jermaine's relationship was tested by their intense work schedules and the demands of their respective careers. Janet continued to tour and release new music, maintaining her status as a global icon, while Jermaine became one of the most sought-after producers in the industry. Their love remained strong, but the nature of their work kept them physically apart for long stretches of time, placing strain on the relationship. Jermaine was based in Atlanta, where he owned and operated his record label So Def, while Janet was often traveling for tours or based in Los Angeles. The geographical distance between them made it challenging to nurture the intimacy they shared, and though they managed to keep things stable for years, the constant separation took a toll on their bond. Janet and Jermaine had both been in the industry long enough to understand that fame could be isolating, and that maintaining a relationship in the public eye was far from easy. While they initially managed to avoid many of the pitfalls other celebrity couples face, the pressures began to weigh on them. By the mid-2000s, fans and media alike were increasingly curious about the future of Janet and Jermaine's relationship. The two were one of the industry's most high-profile couples, and people speculated about whether marriage was on the horizon. In interviews, Janet mentioned that she was deeply in love with Jermaine, but wasn't necessarily in a rush to marry again, having been through 2 previous marriages. Jermaine, however, was open about his desire to marry Janet and start a family. In a few interviews, he spoke about wanting to settle down and even hinted at his interest in having children together. While they never expressed significant differences on this subject publicly, some insiders speculated that their different views on marriage and family may have added pressure to the relationship. Janet's private nature and her complex history with public relationships contributed to her hesitance about marriage, while Jermaine's openness and desire to solidify their bond created underlying tension. Despite these differences, the couple tried to stay grounded, focusing on the mutual respect and love that had brought them together. Janet, known for her poise, always expressed gratitude for Jermaine's support, and Jermaine continued to defend Janet against any criticism, further endearing him to fans. The pressure of public expectations was undeniable, however, and the couple found themselves in the spotlight in ways that neither had anticipated. One of the most challenging aspects of Janet and Jermaine's relationship was the balancing act between their professional lives and their time together. Janet's career had always demanded intense dedication, from her tours to her album releases, and Jermaine's commitments as a producer and label head were equally demanding. In the studio, Jermaine thrived on working long hours, fully immersing himself in his music and the projects of the artist he managed. Janet, while supportive, sometimes struggled with the amount of time Jermaine dedicated to his work, which often required late nights and a near constant presence in Atlanta. Their relationship became a test of patience and understanding, as they both attempted to juggle the demands of their careers with their personal time. The music industry's fast pace made it difficult for them to prioritize each other, despite their best efforts. In an industry where success is measured by how frequently you're in the public eye, both Janet and Jermaine felt the pressure to stay relevant, sometimes at the cost of their relationship. While they cherished their time together, their careers created a sense of distance that proved difficult to bridge. By 2009, after nearly 7 years together, Janet and Jermaine made the difficult decision to end their relationship. Their breakup wasn't filled with scandal or public animosity. Rather, it was a mutual decision, rooted in the realization that their careers and lifestyles were pulling them in different directions. The demands of their work, the challenges of maintaining a long-distance relationship, and the relentless scrutiny from the public ultimately led them to separate. In interviews following the split, both Janet and Jermaine spoke fondly of each other, emphasizing that they had parted on good terms. Jermaine continued to support Janet's career, praising her talent and integrity, and Janet reciprocated, often referring to Jermaine as one of the most significant relationships of her life. Their split was a quiet and respectful one, which was a testament to the deep respect they held for each other. Fans were naturally saddened by the news, as Janet and Jermaine's relationship had been one of the most admired in the industry. However, both artists remained true to their values, choosing to prioritize their individual happiness rather than stay together in a way that might compromise their growth and success. Janet, ever the private individual, maintained her dignity and grace throughout the breakup, while Jermaine continued to support her from afar, showing the public that they could still be allies despite no longer being romantically involved. Following their split, Janet and Jermaine both took time to focus on their careers and personal growth. Janet continued to tour, releasing new music and expanding her creative vision, while Jermaine immersed himself in music production and entrepreneurship. In the years after their breakup, Jermaine remained one of Janet's most loyal supporters, speaking highly of her accomplishments and refusing to let their relationship status affect his admiration for her. In interviews, Jermaine has spoken about the lessons he learned from being with Janet, particularly her dedication to her craft and her unyielding work ethic. He has credited her influence with helping him refine his approach to music and appreciate the power of vulnerability in art. Likewise, Janet has spoken about the positive impact Jermaine had on her life, acknowledging that he provided her with the support and encouragement she needed during some of the most challenging moments in her career. Their continued support for each other inspired fans and showed a side of Hollywood relationships that often goes unseen. A relationship that may not last forever romantically, but still leaves a lasting positive influence. Their friendship and mutual respect became an example of how two people can part ways, but continue to care deeply for each other. Today, Janet Jackson and Jermaine Dupri's relationship is remembered as one of Hollywood's most genuine love stories. While they may no longer be together, their bond set an example of what it means to love authentically and respect each other's individuality. Janet and Jermaine demonstrated that relationships, especially those in the public eye, don't always fit a traditional mold, and that parting ways doesn't have to end in bitterness. Their love story is a reminder that relationships can be meaningful even if they don't last forever. Janet and Jermaine's romance defied expectations, challenging the narrative of what it means to be a successful couple. For them, success wasn't defined by marriage or longevity, but by the honesty, growth, and respect they cultivated while together. Janet Jackson and Jermaine Dupri may have moved on, but their relationship left an indelible mark on both their lives and the public's perception of love. Their story is one of shared dreams, mutual respect, and the ability to walk away with dignity when the time came. Fans may continue to wonder what might have been, but Janet and Jermaine's legacy as a couple lives on, reminding us all that sometimes the most successful relationships are those that end with love, respect, and lasting admiration.